Okay, hi everybody. So this is just a little video to help lead you through this activity that I'd like you to do. It's basically about how our thoughts affect the things around us. So the first thing I would like you to do is watch the short video that I have included. And for this exercise, it's going to be called What the Bleep Do We Know? So it's just a clip from that movie. It's an older movie. Just a backstory there. Basically, there's this guy named Dr. Emoto. He's Japanese, and he basically put bottles of water. I don't have a bottle of water near me, but just a plastic bottle of water um, out at a subway. So, like while people were waiting, they could walk around and check out the bottles of water. On the bottles of water, he had taped a phrase, and there were good phrases and bad phrases. So that's kind of what this video is going to show you. So go ahead and go watch the video about the bottles of water, and when you're done, come on back. I would play elevator music, but again, don't have any, so I'll just drink some coffee and wait for you guys to get it together. Watch the video. All right, so hopefully you watched the video. Now you're back, and what I would like you to do is take out a sheet of paper, and I want you to answer these two questions, okay? So the first question is, do thoughts affect things, okay? If so, then how do thoughts affect things? If not, then why not? Okay, so write those things down. Then I want you to answer this question. Do you think that the study that was presented to you by Dr. Emoto is a real scientific study? Okay, why or why not? So I want you to take a second, write down your answers to that. So do you think it's a real scientific study? And do you think thoughts can actually affect things? If yes, then how? If not, then why not? Okay, so again, elevator music. This Dunkin' Donuts has some good coffee. I don't know if I'm supposed to like plug them while I'm lecturing, but so good. So now you're back. You have your answers to your questions. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little lecture here about how thoughts affect things, in my opinion. And I would like you to leave a comment in the discussion for this week about this topic. So let me know what you think about thoughts affecting things. There will be a little discussion topic on this. I'm just going to look to see what you guys think. So take a second, write a comment there. Then I'll give you my opinion. And again, this is my opinion. This is not the reality for everybody, okay? Remember, we all have different opinions and different experiences, and that's okay. You know, we don't all have to think the same way. But as your teacher, I feel I should share my opinion if I'm asking for yours. So make sure you post first so I don't influence your opinion with my opinion, okay? Once you're posted, here we go. So my opinion is this. When I was younger, I used to wonder how some people could walk into a room and change the whole mood of the whole place, you know? So I had this friend named Pam. I used to play soccer with her. I was a soccer player in college. I played at Cal State Northridge a long time ago. But Pam was our team captain and a leader on our team. And I always wondered, like, what does Pam have that makes her so special? Why is it that everybody loves Pam more than all the other girls on the team? One time we had a news team come out to interview somebody, and who did they end up interviewing? Pam, because she's so personable and everybody just really adores her, right? So Pam is the kind of girl where if you walk into a room with Pam in it, you're going to notice. You're going to feel differently just because she's there. She puts out these positive vibes of some kind. I don't know what they are or how she does it, but she does actually do a fantastic job of lifting up everybody around her. Okay, and I also know people who could do the opposite. So they walk into a room and everybody's like, oh, they feel a little bit icky, You know, ooky. I don't have a better word than ooky, but they feel kind of, I don't feel as good now that this person has walked into the room. It's like they have a storm cloud over their head and they bring that storm cloud with them. So essentially, I think we have the ability to influence others with our mood, okay? But what affects our mood but thoughts? So the way I see it is thoughts affect things by affecting our mood. Our mood then affects the people and things around us. Now, the things part is questionable. So a lot of people are like, how do you affect a thing with the mood? So, I mean, I've seen The Matrix and I've spent time trying to bend spoons with my mind. You know, the kid that bends the spoon with his mind. He's like, you've got to, bend the area around the spoon. Okay, something like that. So I'm trying to do this with mind, like, oh, let me bend this spoon. The spoon never bent. So do I think that I can use my thoughts directly to influence inanimate objects? No, I don't. At least not at this time. Humans don't have the capability to do that. At least any humans that I'm aware of. Okay. But what we can do is influence other animals, plants, things like that with our thoughts. Okay. And the way, again, that I think it works, this is my opinion, is I think something, I have an emotion that goes with that thought. That emotion affects the plant or the person or the animal. Okay. I don't know if we can go past plants and animals and people, but if Dr. Emoto is correct and the words that he taped onto the water bottles influence the emotional state of the person reading them, and that actually affected the water, then maybe there's something to this. Of course, my second question here is, did you think this is a real study? And the answer is, well, yes, it is a real study. Dr. Emoto is a real doctor that lives in Japan that conducts studies like this. This is not the first study that he's conducted, okay? It's not. It's actually, he's done a bunch of studies on this. Every single study that Dr. Emoto does actually turns out to create the same result. So what the result is you can check out the results video. So go check out the results video. Go look at the results of Dr. Emoto's experiments. They have, I guess, what was taped onto the water bottle underneath each of the pictures of the slide. So basically he takes the water and freezes it and then takes like a slice of it and looks at that under the really high-powered microscope, okay? And then that's what you're seeing when you look at the video. So these are his real results. So go look at those and then come on back when you're done looking at those. I'm going to drink some coffee while you do that, right? Again, good coffee. Yeah, press pause, go do that. Come back. Okay, so hopefully you looked at that video. It's pretty cool, right? You can see that some of the water structures or the crystals that are created are really beautiful. So like the chi of love produces this really beautiful thing, or like Mother Teresa blessing the water, like changes it so it looks like this beautiful snowflake. But then like the I hate you, I want to kill you, and Adolf Hitler, and those horrible things, those get these blobby, ugly looking things. So somebody asked me once, how do we know that the crystals are better than the blobby? Like, is there a good or bad to this? Instinctively, I feel that strongly that there is a big difference and that those differences affect us. But when we can actually see the physical change in the water, it's kind of mind-blowing. I don't want it to look like all blobby and green and gross. I want it to look like a beautiful crystal snowflake. So let me ask you this. What if thoughts affect things? What if they really do? What if this is real? I think it's real. So how would that change the way that you conduct yourself? So if you're thinking negative, horrible thoughts, you're creating negative, horrible emotion in yourself, and then that may affect other people and things around you in a negative way. And if that's true, hopefully you want to stop doing that if that's what you're doing. So what I want you to do is think about the thoughts that you have on a regular basis. Are you thinking positive, uplifting things? Or are you thinking negative things that are creating more negativity in your life? You have more control than you think. So back to Dr. Emoto's study. Is it real? Yes. But did the scientific community accept these results? And the answer is not really. Um, Whenever somebody does a study like this, whether it's Dr. Emoto or somebody else, about thoughts affecting things, people get a little crazy. And so a lot of people were trying to replicate the experiments that Dr. Emoto was doing. So to replicate an experiment, you're just basically doing the exact same procedures that that person did to see if you get the same results. And what they found out was a lot of people were struggling to get similar results to Dr. Emoto. And so Dr. Emoto started to wonder if it was his own thoughts or feelings or intentions that were influencing the experiment. And how could you have an experiment where you're influencing something with thoughts and feelings in which your own thoughts and feelings would not get in the way of that? So if you're trying to measure other people's thoughts and feelings, by measuring it, maybe you're affecting the result. So that's what he thought. So he strove to come up with a easier experiment that could be easily replicated by anybody, so we could all find out these results for ourselves. And he did that in the next video that I want to show you. So I want you to look at the video called the rice experiments. Okay, so go ahead and go check out the rice experiments and then come back to me and we'll talk about it. And I'll drink some coffee while you're gone. Okay, so hopefully you're back. You watched the rice experiments. Crazy, right? So this is an experiment that you can actually replicate. And so Dr. Emoto thought once he showed this to everybody that all of the scientific community would be on board with what he was talking about and starting to do more research and branch out to create, I guess, more studies on this topic, since obviously it's a pretty valid topic. So you can actually take 3 containers or beakers of rice, just like Dr. Emoto did, and be nice to one, be mean to the other, and ignore the third one. And if you do that, you will probably see the same results as he created. So you can actually do that right now. Your room might smell a little bit funky, so make sure that you do this in a place where you're not going to be kind of hanging out all the time, because the moldy, gross rice gets pretty nasty. I have seen people do this for 6 months at a time so they can get a more pronounced result. But kindergarten classes do this to show kindergartners, look, the way you think affects the things around you, or the way you talk to others. So what are the implications of this? Think about your childhood. Think about the way you were treated, the things that people said to you. Were they positive or negative or mixed? Or were you the worst case situation, which was you were ignored? Were your family members not engaged with you? Were you constantly yearning and trying to get attention that you weren't getting? That's the worst situation. And I can confirm that, so I told you I have a background in clinical psychology. So when I was doing therapy, I worked with kids in Riverside County, and basically there were kids who were at risk for being removed from their home by Child Protective Services. And these kids, a lot of them were neglected from an early age, meaning their basic needs were not taken care of. So they were sitting in their own dirty diapers for hours at a time. They weren't getting food on a regular basis. Basically, their needs were not being met. And those kids had the biggest, I guess, the hardest time behaviorally. Like, they were acting out, doing negative behaviors, trying to get attention with negative stuff, and were used to being just passed over. A lot of them had severe disease too, like, just diabetes, constant colds, things like that. Maybe because of the health of the situation they were in was bad. There's a lot of other things that are going on in situations like that. But what I can tell you is that neglect really is the worst situation for kids. So when they're growing up, kids need attention, love, etc. So what does this mean for you as a student? So hopefully you can take what you've learned today and you can start applying it to your life, all of your life, and your time as a student as well. So when it comes to your studies and things that you're trying to do well at, you definitely don't want to have a lot of negative thoughts going on in your head. So if you hear yourself saying things like, oh, why are you doing that? That's stupid. Stop yourself right away and replace that with something positive. So if you say, stop, that's stupid, don't do that, then say, hey, don't be mean to yourself. You're doing a good job. You're back in school. Just try to focus on the positive. Focus on what you're doing right. And then think of something that you're doing right. I just did my homework, or I'm watching this video right now and I'm getting my homework done. Look at me. I'm awesome. So by taking negative thoughts and identifying them and then changing them into positive thoughts, you're going to see more positive outcomes with school. And you can do this with your home stuff too. So if there's other stuff that you're working on, like I'm a writer actually on the side, that's my other job. And so, when I want to do better at writing, I say positive things to myself, like, you're going to write an awesome chapter today. Or I can't wait to go home and write. I get to go write right now. It's going to be fantastic and fun. So I try to keep a very positive, upbeat attitude, even when negative things are happening. So that's what Dr. Emoto wanted you and me to take home from this experiment. It's that the way that we talk to ourselves and to each other has a huge impact. And so it may not necessarily be the thoughts themselves that are causing the change. It could be the emotions that are paired with the thoughts that are causing the change, kind of like in his water experiment. But what I can tell you is that it's real and it's happening. So what if thoughts did affect things? They do. Thoughts affect things. So the way you're thinking about yourself right now is going to bring into being whatever you're thinking. Okay? So the more negative thoughts you have, the more negativity you're going to see in your life. The more positive thoughts you have, the more positive things you're going to see in your life. And the more you're going to influence others and things around you positively. There's also a lot of experiments on plants. There's this website called the Thought Experiments, and I have put a link in this week's materials if you want to take a look at that. You can actually become part of the thought experiments. So what happens is everybody goes online and they focus on like maybe a plant growing. So they have like a little seedling in a little pot, and it's just a picture right there on your screen, and then you're supposed to focus on it with positive intention. And a bunch of other people do that at the same exact time. Then they also have plants that are treated negatively, so people think negative thoughts about that plant, and then plants that are ignored. No one pays attention to them, and then they track their growth. And again, what they find is that plants that are approached with positivity grow faster. They're bigger, they're happier, they're more healthy. And so if you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe that. And one way to check if this is true is to try it out. So if you're currently engaging a lot of negative thoughts, why not try doing some positive thoughts and just see how that works for you. All right? Okay, guys. So that's all for this little mini lecture. I'll catch you guys on the other I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.